Hi guys, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hopefully everybody gets over here in a good timely fashion. Cool beans, cool beans. Maybe this room will act better since YouTube was kind of messing up the last time, so we'll see how that works. I have day 8 up here for us to get into regarding our guy, Colin. Hopefully, as people are filing in, I am going to take us live into the courtroom. The good thing about it is that we do have our TiVo time, so that's always an excellent thing to have. And we will kind of go from there. The other thing about it is that, well, these ones, you can almost guarantee that you're going to have some. Oh, they don't even have it on there yet, because usually they'll have a CC definitely on them, but this one don't have it. But that's okay. Let's get in here. Yeah, and I don't know if anybody put anything saying that they here or not, but it don't show me. I can't see, I don't see any of the comments over here. I don't know what is going on. I'll go on my YouTube.
Good morning, Judge. Like the sense of that.
Yes. We were told by our bosses that we were arguing this.
Right. It's actually going to be Mr. Barry, Judge.
Okay. We looked through it a lot last night. There are a number of things that we have concerns about. And these ones, I don't know where that packet is. But,
We have it on. Here.
Okay, close this break. And I don't know whether the best way to do this, Judge, these are numbered pages, so I'll just go by the numbered page. On page 1 is Wells Fargo bank records. I don't know what they're, other than what was purchased at Mike's gun room. I don't know what the probative value would be for bank records. I don't know what they plan to show by that.
Is it one page or are there several pages? I haven't seen any of this.
So that first page is just us explaining what records are in Investigator Gilliland's presentation, like what we're going to be talking about. So one of the things we're going to be talking about is the Wells Fargo records. So during the course of the defendant's interview with Investigator Smith, he talked a lot about how he didn't have enough money to buy a gun safe. He just needed $78 more. He indicates in multiple text messages about needing money for doctors for Colt. So his bank records are important to show, one, he, in the month of August, made $9,000. So needing $78 more for a gun safe is inaccurate if you make $9,000 that month. Additionally, he buys accessories for Colt's gun. He buys ammunition for Colt. He buys numerous items from Elite Pawn. The records for the actual gun purchase from Mike's gun room are on there. So we're going to go through relevant purchases in the records, not the entirety of the records. And we've outlined which purchases we're going through in there, and I think they line up with what I just said, essentially.
And are the Wells Fargo records, what's the time frame of the records you're going through?
I believe they start in November of 2023 when he purchased a firearm for Colt, and they go through September 4th.
And certainly I understand if there's a specific thing on the records, like a purchase of a gun, a purchase of a laser, then that's one thing. But just put in the whole bank record.
As I understand what the state's saying is they believe it's relevant to show that he, in his interview that we haven't heard yet, said he didn't have money to buy a gun safe for counseling. Is that
correct? Well, the counseling was in a text message. We had like co-pays for doctors visits for Colt. The $78 was in his interview.
So are we going to go? I mean, state. Are you going to go by line for 10 months of
No,
transactions? or-
no, it'll line up with essentially what I, just indicated. It'll be the gun purchase on November 17th, 2023, and then going into the next, I think there was some gun-related purchases in December. Going into the next year, there are more gun-related purchases. And then Investigator Gillen will talk about the lack of other purchases. I think she'll testify to the fact that there were no transactions for co-pays for Colt, like he indicated in one of his text messages. And then the last month of August, we will talk about, not line by line, but we'll talk about the amount of money that he brought in that month, given that he claims that that is the month that he needed $78 more. So the fact that he made $9,000 in 1 month would indicate that he did have $78.
All right. Given those issues, I do find that they're relevant for those limited purposes. So if we call this a motion to eliminate, I would deny the motion, to exclude these Wells Fargo records as has been outlined. What's next?
On page 3, Judge, and on many of these exhibits,
And let me give you this back, just so you can give me an order. Again, I don't know if you got your separate set that you're working from, or if this is a. Yes, sir. Oh, you want me to keep that then? You think I need this for the future? Okay. Absolutely.
on page 3, and all through these, I noticed yesterday, the exhibit is spoken to by the state. It's not just the exhibit, but they put on there, like on page 3, purchase of laser sight from Amazon. They can testify about what it is, but to put it on the exhibit is a little unusual. And I would presume that the photo is Colin Gray, but I'm not positive. I can't really tell.
All right, so, yeah, this is hard, but I don't have a separate set to review. So your objection is to what's in the box, purchase of a laser sight from Amazon.
Correct.
I
I don't have a problem with the fact that it's purchased, and I don't know whether that is Colt's photograph or not. I don't know whether that was taken off his phone. It's not Colt. I don't know.
And I'm gonna I can pull up the PowerPoint.
I don't know whether it was taken that day or another day.
So that is why Investigator Gillen is going to testify to add context to these things. But specifically, and I will be candid with the court, it is very hard to find case law that says it is okay to put words on a presentation. I don't have a case that says that. But routinely in presenting summaries, as the one that Investigator Gillen has done, we put titles so that the jury can easily understand what is in the page. It is demonstrative as long as the state can show the accuracy of the summary and the wording, then it is admissible. I don't think there is any law that says we can't put words. I did find a case about anatomical drawings, and someone writing words on the anatomical drawings did not make it admissible. It actually was still able to go back with the jury. So I disagree that we can't put words. I do believe we can put words. The words are simply a summary of what is in the slide. It is a title to that slide. It's not prejudicial. It is accurate. Investigator Gillen will testify that is a picture that Colt took of himself with the laser and with the rifle that he sent to the defendant, which again is relevant because our whole, one of the things the state has to prove is that the defendant gave Colt access to the firearm. A picture of him with the firearm that he then sent to the defendant is clearly evidence that he had access to that firearm.
All right. Let me ask this, Mr. Gray. So where the witness gets on the stand and says, this exhibit shows the purchase of the laser sight from Amazon, where she says those words, is there additional prejudice in the word, the exhibit kind of being labeled with that purchase?
Well, the ones that I had the most problem with were labeled as defendant, because actually labeling somebody that had been charged. So that's the wording that
But on this one, is there?
that one that I just don't like wording on it because it directs the jury to something. The photograph, I don't know whether it was taken before the Amazon purchase or after. I guess we can cross-examine about that. Just wanted to be sure that that's.
Yeah, and you know, so where the states, let's just for example say they're tendering an exhibit with 100 pages of different things. Would it be improper for there to be tabs, like bank records, photographs. To me, it's, at least this one is somewhat in line with like a tab. So as to that one, then you can cross on the, obviously, as you know, on the picture and its relation to the purchase. So as to this particular, purchase of laser sight from Amazon, assuming she testifies to that fact, I'll deny the question. And then, of course, all the issues you're raising are preserved here. All right, what's next? This is that front one you gave us, so I'll keep working on that one.
You said providing out the second copy of the PowerPoint.
Page 4 is email from the sister to the defendant. I do have a problem with the use of defendant about school enrollment. That's really more than what would be on a tab.
4 is, I'm sorry, I didn't pull that up.
Oh, I can, do you want me to display it for you?
Yes, ma'am, please. I'll pull it up on the screen, so you don't keep walking. All right, so here, this is the question. Your objection is the use of word defendant's sister emails defendant, as opposed to whatever her name is, emails Colin Gray.
Correct.
Anything, Ms. Brooks?
So, again, finding a case that talks about whether or not the state can use the word defendant was also attacked. I did find a case that says that we can call the defendant a predator. So I feel like calling the defendant a defendant is less prejudicial than that. The fact that the state is allowed to call the defendant a predator in a trial would suggest that calling the defendant is okay. We have identified him as the defendant because that is his position in this case. Everyone has the last name Gray, calling him Mr. Gray, or Colby Gray, or Colin Gray. I don't believe there's any difference in prejudice between calling him defendant versus that. I do think it is more clear who we're talking about when you call him defendant. I think it's prejudicial. I think, again, it is a title page to an email so the jury understands who is talking to who. We have called him defendant throughout this whole trial. I believe the court calls him defendant. I'm sure the defense counsel, their defense counsel, their defendant's counsel. It's just a word that we commonly use in crime cases.
Do you know the case?
I understand the line of cases dealing with, you call anybody anything in closing argument if you want to, pretty much, according to the cases, but putting it on a document that you're going to put before the jury, I think would be an issue.
I can't specifically find that it's prejudicial to refer to him as defendant. I mean, at various points, I think everybody involved is calling Colin Gray, but also calling the defendant. I can't think of any particular harm. I've had cases where somebody filed a motion to eliminate the state from using the word rape, which is certainly has prejudicial attachment to it, and case law said you can use the word rape. You can use the word, I'm pretty sure this case law says you can use the word victim. Would I like it a little better if it said whatever her name is to Colin Gray? Probably, but I don't think it's prejudicial. It is his position in the case. So I'll, as to that,
We don't have a problem with page 5, Judge. Page 6, we don't have a problem with it other than the fact that it does use defendant again, where it says Colt, Jenny, and defendant visit Wilson Shoals gun range at 10:25 a.m., which is, of course, direction and comment on the document. And I assume these are not going back to the jury if they have comments on them anyway.
We agree that the comments would go back to the jury, the actual exhibit.
they're conceding that one on not going back. It's conceding the witness.
Clarifying question. Yesterday we went through these and we were told about specific objections. If we go through this page by page, this is going to take hours, I would say. It is a significant amount. I'm fine to, I think he has an objection to certain pictures. I can find those on here. I think, again, if we're just gonna go page by page, then I thought that was the purpose of yesterday, so we wouldn't do that, but I wanted to see see how we're doing this.
So what I have in front of me, and so far, it seems like it's grouping them by categories. Number one, Wells Fargo bank accounts. Number two, Amazon purchase records. There's 13 on this page. And I think we're at 6. Mr. Gary, as far as issues.
That's correct, Judge. What we can do to maybe shorten it is anywhere on any of these pages where it has defendant, we would object to it. So that'll cut down.
Where Dave called him the defendant, labeled it defendant.
Right.
Do you,
That's better, right? I have a copy for you.
do you want a limiting instruction to in some regard about the use of the word defendant?
I think that would be good, Judge, if the court doesn't mind.
All right, well, we're not, so I know we've got quite a while with this interview. If you want to cobble together what you think would be an appropriate limiting instruction, let me know prior to the introduction of this. That may be something that I'll do. As far as use of the word defendant.
That's fine, Judge. And if the state has those photographs that were a problem, we came up with yesterday, you want to just bring them up and we'll deal with those.
Are you referring to the picture of the Colt with the gun?
Correct.
All right.
This is just the first grouping of pictures with a Colt with the gun at the gun range with the defendant.
Objection, Mr. Perry.
One second. I don't think, Judge, those were the ones we talked about yesterday. We had an objection to. There are some here. I'm sure the state will know what page they're on. Where Colt is putting the gun to his head and in his mouth and that sort of thing. And we do have them, like on page 23, there are photographs of children, which is not something that we talked about displaying. There's an email there, but there's also a photograph which they've blown up.
And I was just gonna go through the PowerPoint meeting and, I know y'all also had some objections to the school shooter trying pictures, so I was just going through it and displaying it if you wanna.
That would be great if you don't mind doing it to make it much quicker.
I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna kind of go straight through the PowerPoint. This is the first picture of the school shooter trial from April 15th of 2024.
How many pages are we about to go through?
So my understanding is we're gonna go through, pictures of guns, and the school shooter pictures. I think it's like 10 to 15, if we do it that way.
All right, Mr. Perry, let's just address each one they put up. Objections to this particular one, I'll call it a slide, this particular slide.
That's correct, Judge.
Yeah, see, Investigator Smith, I think when we left off, you ready for me to proceed, Your Honor? You ready for me to proceed?
Yes, sir.
When we left off yesterday, I think you had left the Jeannie's interview at the treehouse and
Yes, sir.
invited Mr. Colin Gray to your office for an interview.
That's correct.
Okay. How did this interview begin? What kind of questions were you talking about at the beginning?
At the beginning, they do like a rapport building phase. They just kind of walk through. Are you talking about the forensic interview?
No, we moved on. We're at your office and you're interviewing Colin
Okay.
Gray. How did you start your interview with Colin Gray?
Yes, sir. We kind of do a rapport building phase, like I mentioned before, just kind of discussing some background information. In this case, Mr. Gray talked about his family.
Did you talk about kind of the history of the family and the moving around and that sort of stuff?
He did. He mentioned that they had moved around a lot from beginning in Statham to Fitzgerald. They moved to Jackson County and then ultimately came back to Barrow County.
Did he talk about his and Colt's relationship with guns?
He did.
Okay, what did he say about that?
He mentioned that that was a way for him and Colt to bond, that he did not like Colt playing video games and being alone so much. So that was something that he did with his father, so he wanted to do with Colt.
Okay, and you talk about kind of the history of the specific guns. with him
He
and
did.
Colt. Tell me about that.
So he mentioned that he first purchased Colt a Bushmaster rifle. And I think that they had gone hunting, if I'm recalling this correctly, in his 7th grade year to around 2022 was his first hunt. And then he talked about that rifle specifically jamming on Colt, and then it kind of scared him. So ultimately, Colin returns that firearm to Mike's gun room, and then purchases another firearm, which was the firearm that was used in the shooting.
Did he say what time period he purchased that second firearm?
The second firearm was purchased for a Christmas present, Christmas of 2023.
Did he say after Christmas where the gun was kept?
He did. He said that the gun was kept in his closet. And when I say his closet, I mean Colin Gray's closet. And that was in a bedroom that he shared with his juvenile son, Coley. And he mentioned that the guns were kept in the closet on the top shelf. The ammunition was also kept in there as well.
And did he keep that narrative throughout?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Did he change where the gun, Colt's gun specifically, was
He
kept?
did.
And what did he say about that?
He mentioned on 2 separate occasions that Colt had actually gone into his bedroom, and that Colt had retrieved the firearm from Colin's bedroom and taken it into his room to clean or mess with, take it apart or put some new attachment on it. He said this occurred on at least 2 separate occasions. And then ultimately, towards the end of the interview, Colin admitted that Colt was allowed sometimes to keep the rifle in his room leaned up in the corner.
Did he talk throughout this interview about Colt's tendency towards physical violence?
He did.
Tell us what he said about that.
He mentioned that specifically over the past couple of months, that Colt's whole demeanor had changed, his whole attitude had changed, that he had become more aggressive, that they had gotten into multiple physical altercations, that Colt on one occasion had bull rushed him, that Colt had struck him with his fists in Colin's face. He said that he talked about them wrestling to the ground, talked about a screwdriver being thrown against him. He also,
The screwdriver incident, who's throwing to who?
I apologize. That would be Colt Gray throwing the screwdriver at Colin Gray.
Okay.
And then he also mentioned that Colt had done some property damage to the house, that he had punched holes in either the walls or doors in the house.
Did he talk about his daughter Jenny and his son Colt's interactions?
He did.
And what did he say about that?
He mentioned that there was at least one I'm recalling right now is they had gotten into an argument and Jenny had run from him.
And who's him?
Had run from Colt. I apologize. She was kind of scared. I guess there was an altercation going on between Colt and Colin, or Colt and Jenny. And Jenny ultimately ran away and kind of barricaded herself in her bedroom.
Okay. And did he talk about Colt's emotional and mental health problems?
He did.
What did he say about that?
He mentioned that Colt suffered from anxiety and depression, and then he mentioned this aggression that he had.
Okay. Did he talk about Colt, what kind of treatment he thought Colt needed for this?
He mentioned that he had applied for mental health treatment for Colt through the school.
Did he talk about Colt needing anything more aggressive than just counseling?
He did talk about that, but that was a conversation that he had specifically had with his wife, Marcy.
Okay. And what did he say about that?
Colin told me that Marcy had mentioned that she thought that Colt needed inpatient in-house therapy.
Okay. And did he agree with Marcy on that?
He did not.
Okay. And those pictures you took of Colt's arm, did you
Yes,
show
sir.
those to him?
I did. About 2 hours into the interview, Colin did not mention anything about Colt self-harming. He did mention that Colt had depression, but didn't mention anything about Colt self-harming. So I showed Colin a picture of Colt's arm, and he did say that he knew about that and that Colt had self-harmed while depressed in Fitzgerald, Georgia. And then after Colt cut himself, he had taken the knife from Colt.
Did he talk about an incident where Marcy and Colt got into a physical altercation over the gun?
He did.
Tell us about that.
I believe it was approximately 2 to 3 weeks prior to, if I'm recalling that correctly. There was a incident where Marcy had confronted Colt in part about the firearms and mentioned getting the firearms out of the home. And during that incident, Colt had pushed Marcy to the ground.
And did he know about this?
He did.
Okay. Did he say anything about after that incident, whether Marcy asked him to do anything with the guns?
He did. He said that Marcy asked him to put the guns up.
Okay. And did he ever do that?
He says that he put them in his closet.
Okay. And did he ever talk about any sort of locks or anything on his closet?
No, sir. He said there were no locks.
And did you discuss the pictures of the school shooter on Colt's wall?
We did.
Were you aware of those at the time that you were interviewing him? They
Yes, sir.
Discovered. Okay. And what did he say about that?
He said that he did not know who that was.
Okay. Did he say anything about asking Colt who it was?
I recall Colin telling me that he believed that that was a guy from Green Day.
Okay.
But he did not say that Colt told him anything about a school shooter.
Did he deny that Colt told him that I was a school shooter?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, had you talked to Kelsey Ward about her interview with the defendant the previous day?
Yes, sir. Had.
Okay. And what he telling you different from what he told her?
Yes, sir.
About that? What specifically was different?
Specifically on where Colin initially said that the firearm was located. Colin, according to my conversation with Special Agent Ward, initially told her that it was allowed to be kept in his bedroom. Here, there was a very, very different kind of 3 separate places that it was kept. That was different, as well as him having knowledge about who was in the kind of pictures that were up on Colt's wall. Special Agent Ward told me that Colin told her that 3 days before the shooting that he was told who that was.
And he denied that to you?
He did.
Okay. Did he admit that him and Colt, or that Colt talked about school shooters to him?
Yes.
Okay. And what did he say about that?
He said that Colt had a very analytical mind, that he noticed very small details. He talked about him looking into researching school shooters or different trials that were going on.
Okay. At this point in your investigation, had you seen anything on Colt's phone?
No, sir.
Okay. What happened at the end of the interview?
At the end of the interview, I did confront Colin about the inconsistencies in his statement, and ultimately I placed Colin under arrest.
Okay. Have you had a chance to watch the video of your interview with Colin Gray?
Yes, sir. I have.
And does it accurately reflect the interview and the totality that you had with him?
Yes, sir, it does.
Your Honor, this time I tender state exhibit number 185. It actually, I think because of email purposes, it came to us in 3 separate parts. So it's going to be 185.1, 185.2, and 185.3, but it is one video.
No objection. 185.
And Your Honor, just for the court and the records, it starts with them going in the room, a quick introduction, and then Mr. Smith, Investigator Smith, leaves the room. So we're going to cut through that. That is going to be, he leaves the room at 0040, comes back 10 minutes later at 11:00. So we'll cut through when he's not in the room because nothing's happening.
I assume no objection. No objection. That's what we can do, sir.
And that's in State Exhibit 185.1. And then, Your Honor, in 185.3, towards the end of the interview, Investigator Smith steps out again at 39:30 and is gone for about 5 minutes to 45:30, so 6 minutes. So we'll cut that part out because it's just Mr. Gray sitting in the room by himself. And then it ends at 53:35 when they walk out. So that's just for the record.
And in total, you said 2.5 hours?
Yes, Your Honor. The first one's going to be, when you take the stuff out, it's 41 minutes. Part 2 is 67 minutes, and part 3 is 47 minutes.
Thank you.
And then I'm gonna let you sit next door for a second. I'm gonna go grab my notes, and I'll be right back with you, okay? You need anything? That's all good to go. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna lock the door. It's all good. I apologize for that. I have not gone to the bathroom, all day. All good. So I promise I'll wash my hands. All good. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Investigator Jason Smith. I'm with the Rare County Sheriff's Office. And you're Mr. Colin Gray, correct? Okay. Sorry, we're meeting like this. No, yeah. Unfortunately, that happens. And I'm gonna apologize beforehand because I'm gonna get 1,000 text messages and emails, and I'm trying to to keep them, turn all them off right now. So I've heard a little bit, I understand you talked to law enforcement, heard a little bit about, kind of your statements to them. I'm just gonna go ahead and explain my involvement. Yesterday, we were here at the office, we got a call. Go out to the high school, and, while at the high school, after everything was secure, and you know, the medics assisted with life-saving measures and everything like that. I conducted an interview with your son. Okay, he did, you know, we respected his rights, he was read Miranda, you know, he was very respectful, yes, sir, no, sir, and he basically explained to us what he did. I mean, he explained to us exactly what we observed on cameras.
Okay, well, let me have it. What did you say? Like, what happened?
Okay, so and I'll get into that, answer as many of your questions as possible. But in order for me to kind of help better articulate that to you, it's kind of like when you work a case like this, it's kind of like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't have a very good view of what's going on. So I understand he's been solely living with you for the past couple of years, give or take. While we're talking, is it okay if I take some notes?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay, good. Because my memory, well, it's okay some days. Colin, you spell your name C-O-L-I-N? Okay. You got a middle name?
No.
No middle name. Colin, have a middle name either? Yeah.
Colin Junior, my little one is 8.
You don't have a middle name either?
It goes back to my dad's side of the family,
Just no middle name.
all the boys, all the way back to the Mayflower.
Okay.
CG.
Wow.
And I was married when I was young, like.
I was wondering why everybody had that CG like
Yeah,
that.
so I was married when you're about to be 20 or whatever, you know everything,
Uh-huh.
and moved out, got married, had 2 older daughters, Brittany and Brooke. And
You said Brittany and Brooke.
Brittany and Brooke, yeah, and,
Where they live?
they live over in Woodstock with their mom.
Okay. How old are they?
They're 26 and 25.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Who's
so,
26?
the older one is Brittany. Brooke is the younger one.
Well, why don't they have, CG in their names? Is it boys that?
No, just girls, yeah, so I told my dad, I said, it ended with me, Pops, I'm like, I'm really sorry, I've had a lot of history, he laughed, I'm like, I said something funny. He was like, you'll be married again, boy, I'm like, you, well, man, you lost your mind, I said, child support, I'm like, do you want to go through this?
Then you got married again?
Got
So
married.
you go there, say that.
And that's exactly what he said, I'm like, I'm telling you, I can tell you where I was standing when I was wearing it.
Right.
Yeah, and he was right. So got married.
Oh, people usually are.
Yeah, when I get to that side, I'm sure he's got a lot to say to me.
Oh, yeah.
We found out she was having a baby, I'm like,
Who's name, baby?
I'll see you the ex-wife.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I said, oh my God, I said, first word, first mine. Just break it out. Second was like, God, that was a boy. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no pressure, I said, I just hope it's a boy. She's like, no, tell me, it's like, it was back, she's like, I didn't find out till later, she was like, I felt so much pressure to make a boy.
Yeah.
But, they're all one, like marriage and that.
I think on her, that's on you to make boys and
I
girls.
know, and I just remember when I went in there, I'm like, where'd my wife go?
Yeah.
She asked me to get water, so I got the different bag. She had went in there, told me, turn it on, I need to know, how to prepare myself, and it was what more.
Was it?
And after it's all said and done, right, I walk in, I'm like, well, thanks for waiting, and he's got these little egg over his belly, he's like,
Yeah.
are you ready? And I'm like, yeah, he's like, okay. You know what that is? And I'm like, out the door down the hallway in the park, I'm not calling my dad, because he was just, dementia and colon cancer, and what,
Yeah.
taking him over yet, but he could see right on the wall. So I was like, hang on, I'm trying to give him a carrot, like, we'll push through this together because you're my grandson. Wow, he was just so happy, you know, the whole.
So you were only his only grandson?
Yeah.
So very big was on with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
Okay, well, let's get back to which one's older, Brittany or Brooke?
Brittany,
Brittany's older. Brittany, she Gray?
she is the great.
She is Gray. She already.
She may or be divorced now, back to Gray, I'm not sure where all that stands yet.
Okay. So what's your date of birth?
8/10/70.
8/10/70. And you have a cell phone number?
I do, y'all got my work number, this is recently.
We don't have a work number.
Y'all got my work phone.
Oh, they're doing it. See, again, that's why I'm in here. I'm trying to put these together.
I'm no GBI, but there's just what we're doing right here, we'll do the whole thing. She's like, I'm just like, this is my work phone and my work laptop.
Well, I'm sure they're gonna get that back to you.
That's what she said, and I'm like, okay, but I still need to let my boss know.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you able to let your boss know?
I had a Gmail account.
Okay.
I just sent him an email and said, hey, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
like he's having impression that it happens, like, he knows
What's the
everything.
name sound?
If he's in the area, he's good to go to church, go there, you know.
What does he own?
He owns, Kevin Price General Contracting, and then,
Okay.
as I'm getting to know the thing, he's tied to a ton of stuff in Athens.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar. Kevin Price, General Contracting.
Yes, sir.
How long you been working there?
I started, May, beginning of May.
Beginning of
Right,
May.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
What did you do before that?
I've done the same thing my whole career, as commercial building superintendent. I'm in charge of building from during up high rises, hospitals, whatever.
Yeah, you just bring everybody together, make it happen.
They have the drawings and figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Your address, is that 896, Harrison Mill Road? Okay, I just want to make sure. I'll go ahead and write that down. Before I write that, I want to make sure that, you know how I don't know if you ever played the telephone game in school, where you start out telling one thing, by the time it comes all the way back around, it's not even nothing.
Exactly.
That's one of the reasons that I'm in here talking to you now.
Yeah, yeah.
How long you lived at Harrison Mill Road?
It was a year this past June, we signed it a year at least.
Okay, this house. What was you think about Harrison?
This is where they were all born.
Really?
You know, they're off of Beach Creek Road.
Oh, yeah.
All except for little Cody.
Yeah, I know.
We moved from Beach Creek, we bought a farm and stayed on, and that's really where we lived for the majority of our life.
Okay. How long did you live on at Beach Creek?
Oh, man, probably 10 years or so,
Okay.
8, 9, something like that, it was a long time.
Okay.
All the kids went, they started off at State Elementary and Helping Hands used to be right there, so it's good for us.
What's Helping Hands?
It was the daycare that was
Oh, okay.
like a pathway from
Yeah.
school to the daycare.
Oh, yeah.
It was really great for us.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So did you live at Beach Creek before you moved to that land?
So yeah, we sold everything right about the start of COVID. I had a spine fusion, I had 2 back surgeries, and
Wow.
ruptured a disc, slowed the guy on the job, working like that. It's just me, I said, well, I'll put the door on the hinges, you screw up, pull out doors, like, okay.
Mhm.
This is 07, and much younger, much better shape. I grabbed that door, and I'm like, as soon as I picked up that door, it's like, sort of sounded like a knuckle punch into my back. I'm like, wasn't immediate. I set the door down, I'm like,
That's all right.
yeah, I sat down for a second, I'm like, damn. As soon as I was straight up, I'm like, wow, on the floor.
Mhm.
Take the emergency room, couldn't talk, nothing, like, I've never felt anything like that. I've never been stitched up, never been in the hospital, like, nothing.
So what they do for you?
Then, gave me a big old shot of morphine, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll just take that.
You feel good.
Take that straight morphine, I'm like, oh, perfect, so I can get that gut. He was like, let me show you a picture, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? He goes, he said, I call it crap. He said, you have ruptured your disc, and blown out everything on the inside, and gone down your nerve channels and back to your legs, and it's hard.
So what, you use everything you got?
He said, I can do it, I've done myself, I screwed the laminectomy, and I was 9 months good to go.
Mhm.
So he gave everything happened again, I was on the table 10 months later.
Mhm.
Stitched up everything, cut a piece of my vertebrae off, packed it behind the disc, keep it in place, and I was supposed to be fixed. And it did for 5 or 6 years, right? And just pain, more pain, so I go see a specialist, get run down. Here's all my medical stuff, like, we need to do a quick MRI, like, no problem. Get the MRI, like, oh, I'm like, well, that's down here. He said, your disc is leaking fluid into your spinal cord, spinal canal. I'm like, I can't, like, have enough surgery. Like, I can't do this recovery. It's a pain in the ass. I'm like, this is totally different. It goes through the front, instead of, I said, you go through the front of my belly, you go to my spine. I'm like, it kind of feels like you're going around the mountain there. It's a real problem.
Hey, man, they do some weird surgery, you know?
Yeah, so I, like anything, I verified who it was, like, oh, shit, this guy's like, he rewrote the book, he really did for this surgery, the fusion, and
Right.
tell me, give me it. So he went through the front, and the bracket is on this side of my spine, not on my
Yeah,
back. So
it's on this one,
yeah, so sore, like, if I was a kid, I can't, like, I don't know, because it's hurting, I can't get to it.
How long take you recover from that?
A year, probably rusted back, because I can't.
You can probably now?
The second MRI, bracket's supposed to be in there, just like this,
Yeah.
in there about 11 o'clock. And this screw is like, just rubs against the nerves. Like, the only thing.
How do you work?
Just work for a very, very long
They
time.
give you pain medication when that pops off and hits your nerve?
Correct. And I'm like, I don't really take any of that. I'm afraid. So you're gonna be on speed here really fast. And I'm like, I'm good. I said, I have so many people I'm responsible for in the job. I don't like that shit. I said, I don't drink or nothing like that. So I'm good. Try to tough it out, add bills. Like, this is not, working. And it's like, so we'll start you on some real great, hydrocodone basically. I'm like, okay, never had it, what to do. So that was 07, 08, and start taking that to be able to get to work and, handle everything. So as time went along.
Where you worked at then?
I was working for Weekly Construction out of Marietta. I was in for almost 10 years. And built a big railroad job downtown. It's just a big $100 million project. I just was bullshit with the CEO of the railroad, and I didn't know who that man was.
Right.
How much power he actually had. And we, like, comes out and he's like, hey, y'all gotta get down from 120 million. He's like, I like the man. You're gonna do it for us, and he's got to run it all. I'm like, oh, that's great. But, so I had underestimated the effort and the time away from it. 6-7 days a week for months. But it was me building my career, and this was my stable job. I've been working my whole life to get there. So.
Is that normal work week for you, or was it just that?
Yeah, that project. It was cameras and all that. So that led to, really just looking. COVID started, I had that second back surgery. It just, like, I kept pushing it, going back early, more pain pills, like, didn't know it at the time. It's like, man, it's like taking these pain medications, it's not working. So I go to the doctor, I'm like, look, I ain't taking this stuff, and there's nothing happening. So, fast forward for, I don't know, a couple years, I guess, and as it has turned out, I don't know when she started, I just know that she started. And basically going in, taking my pain meds, and putting, like, if you look at a heat wave Tylenol, you have to look. I don't look, I just take them, But I didn't know that was going on. And like, kind of had an idea, started paying attention to what I was thinking, like the numbers were all different, so it was like, all right, so I just kind of set a trap in the kitchen to see what was happening. It was her. Right. So that's where that initial kind of breach of our marriage started right there. And it's like,
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there.
That's kind of how we ended up moving and all that stuff.
Okay. So you moved from B Street, and then you said you went to Statham, Law Farm, Statham.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Where were you at in Statham?
Bear Creek Road.
Bear Creek Road.
Yes.
How long did you guys live there?
I said about 8, 9 years or so, long enough that my parents are, part of their ashes are buried on that farm.
Are they really? That's supposed to be the forever
That
home.
was supposed to be forever home.
What happened with that?
She kind of started going really downhill.
Like she didn't need more.
Yeah, just like, had a really good job, engineer. I'm like feeling pressure to carry all the bills, and it's a lot to run all of that. Paying bills, boats, all that stuff, to be honest, just never made that much money a year of my life, and really, like, this is all the money. Yeah, never for me, our family, we never had more. It was clear, I was buying, just make the kids happy with my campers and stuff like that, So we made the decision that I was gonna kind of step back, and we can sell our farm and make a chill profit, which we did, and just step back. She had a death in the family, the grandmother's house down in Fitzgerald was just sitting, and she said, let's just, you go heal. She had a job lined up with Georgia Pacific down there. I'm like, okay, house is paid for, truck's paid for, everything's good. I can get into a little more involvement with the kids, which is what I was missing. So we went down there and we called we started playing football. We won the little state title down there, doing everything that I thought that's what we
So
needed.
you moved to Fitzgerald after the farm?
Correct.
Okay.
And then the issue that we just discussed about followed us down there. And
Talking about the substance abuse stuff?
yes, so my parents were a block away, so we followed
How long you down in Fitzgerald for?
about 8, maybe 9 months. It wasn't long. And
Where'd you go after that?
I could call back up here after like their mom involved, like, you see what's happening, you need to get her help right now. And whatever that looks like, that's fine. I'm gonna take the kids, we're gonna go back home. I don't wanna be down here. I said, I just have to make a call and get a job and come back up here, and she needs help. She needs to be put in place and helped. Like, I can't do this anymore. The kids,
Is that when you moved up to Jefferson?
yeah. So we came back, I made a phone call, like, yep, come on, we'll hire you tomorrow. So I came back up here, lived up here for probably a month, just trying to save money to get everybody to move back up here. So best school area I thought would be Jefferson as far as rent. And I don't know what happened before and after COVID, but like rent is like, stupid. So we found what we could afford in Jefferson, moved in there, and really, me and the kids were good, just doing our every day.
And Marcy followed back up here?
She did, she came back up probably,
How long ago was it?
I'd say we were probably there about 7 or 8 months, same thing. She came up and it was just a shit show, and no effort, no nothing, drinking all the time. I would go to work and home still in bed, so that wasn't going to work. So,
You stayed in that one house for those few months and you moved to,
so I had her mom come over to take her, and I said, so Will only wanted to be with his mom. So the grandmother came up, so Marcy and Will called me, and Jenny said she wanted to just go down there for a little while, come back and kind of flip flop. She wasn't sure yet, but Colt and I were gonna stay. Like, okay. So we stayed, Colt was doing his everyday thing, you know, it was like 7th grade, good schools. Somewhere along the line, 7th grade, some bullying started, went to the school, and was like, hey, what's going on, my son? You know, coming home and say there's, you know, people are like picking on him, and
what were they doing to him?
well, he's kind of, obviously, he was just kind of a quiet kid. He doesn't know, you know, he's not really gonna walk up and be the center of the show. You know, he said, he told me, like, I was eating lunch at the dinner table by myself, and it's a group of guys and a couple of girls, and we're making fun of him for sitting down there by himself and just mocking him or whatever, which, that was the original going to school before this.
Yeah.
He was going crazy, you know, here's what we're gonna do. No, I went to school, told this is what's going on. I said, I don't have exact names. I can give you what he's telling me. These people are, I don't think you.
What school was this, you remember?
Yeah, this was, Jefferson Middle School.
Jefferson, no?
Yes.
How long you go there?
He was there for the time we moved into that house.
Okay.
So,
So you went to Statham and, State schools for a little bit?
yeah, he went to Statham, and then when we
Was
were
he
there,
bullying in Statham?
no, nothing like that.
I just started in Jefferson.
Mhm. So we went back, and I'm like, all right, so as soon as I started, now the kid, one of the kids, he's eating lunch will come by, or he's sitting there eating lunch, or flipping in the ear. So I said, so for me, now they're making contact with him, like, can we just have a place in school where Cole can come set up shop? He's a really smart kid, like, he's really good at school. She's like, well, we don't operate that way, and we'll get counselors involved, which they did, and it just never really, you know? So, I don't know, we talked about different things. I'm like, you got it on this computer and just gaming and crap. And for me, I'm just,
When did that start?
as soon as he could just get to school, it seemed like it was gaming and PlayStations, and then when
Like,
PlayStation.
did it happen before 7th grade or after 7th grade?
The gaming and stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as like middle school started, that's when it was PlayStations and Xboxes. And for me, I'm like, no.
So he played football and all that in elementary
Yeah,
school?
yeah. And for me, I'm like, I don't want you sitting in front of the screen out there all day. That's not how I was raised. I want to show you how I dealt with things growing up. It wasn't always easy. I said, you know, I deer hunted for my first memory. You know, and I thought that's how I could just bond with him one-on-one and just kind of work some stuff out with him. He'll maybe relax and tell what's going on. We can just build off of that.
When did you guys start hearing? How
Um,
old was it?
Not last year, it was the year before that, the ending of that year. So once this 24, 22, I guess.
2022 is when you started hearing?
Mm-hmm.
How old was he in 2 years ago? 12? 12?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
I started about 7th grade.
Yeah. So got my plumber I was working with, like, Colin, man, this is great. He said, come out to the house, got a big farm. He said, I'll set you guys up a blind. And I'll show up here in the morning and I'll walk down. Like, last day of the season too, I'm like, dude, we're not gonna shoot nothing because we ain't gonna shoot nothing. I said, it's just about the process for him. So, I wanna try to, like, hook you right here. He's like, I got it. I'm like, okay. So great guy, great thing. Throws a nice blind shirt. My son comes up and I'm looking through the binoculars. And he's looking and he starts shaking. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, okay, so goes that whole thing. Well, it's a little buck. And he knows I was little the first year, so I was a broken horse, 5 foot tall. He shoots that deer ball straight up. Couldn't believe it. The gun jammed. That was the only bad thing. So
He shot it?
he shot it. Like, we had gone to the range, up in both ranges, actually, Charlie Elliott, the one up in Big Blazer, I think it's
Go ahead, Charlie. You got his first year in 2022?
Yeah, yeah. And
What kind of gun was he using then?
so that was a Bushmaster 450, and
How hard about you?
I don't know.
How's that guy going?
Yeah, because I bought it from Mike.
I'm not a gun expert, what kind of gun is it?
So, the Bushmaster is kind of like I said, when I told Mike, I said he's little, I want to scare him when he pulls the trigger, I said, something, it's not too big, but I don't want to wound the deer. And he pulls the trigger on the deer, it goes down. I said, I don't want to think about that. So, he's like, hey, this Bushmaster's good, it'll do the trick.
Is that like a hunting rifle or is that like a AR-15 shot?
That's the thing, I said, man, like the AR platform, shotguns, they've got that look, I said, that's kind of what he's excited about, and, so Mike's like, here, let's try this Bushmaster, I'm like, okay, we only held 5, or 3 actually in the clip. I'm like, okay, that'll be a good start. So, just him and I, we sit down on the floor, we go.
That's a hunting rifle, right? Is it like the old wood kind?
No, it's a classic AR
Oh,
platform.
So it had 3 rounds in the
Yeah,
housing?
it's really a small mag, and like I'm like, you only need one.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Did he want a bigger bag?
He just thought that, yeah, he wanted more bullets, and he just thought that it was like, he said, you know, can I break this? He has a little pellet gun.
Right.
He's like, can I put my pellet gun in the holster and walk around the woods? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. So we sat down on the floor and went over everything we were gonna do and not do with these weapons in the house.
Okay.
There's a no bullshit rule in this house. That's how that's gonna be, or they're gone. And that was never have a loaded weapon in that
Okay, so
house.
we'll kind of jump around a little bit.
Well, yeah,
Not
so
get too far.
so that was Jefferson, basically.
Okay, so Jefferson is the first time he really kind of got in. When did, what, you said you went to Charlie Elliott?
Yeah.
How many times did you take him to Charlie Elliott?
I'd say probably twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
Which all shoot party were there?
We shot, I had a deer rifle, a very late deer rifle.
Mhm.
I don't have that anymore. He shot his Bushmaster, and I had a shotgun, and we shot the shotgun.
Okay. Shotgun. You shot all 3 of those?
He wouldn't shoot my deer rifle, he's scared.
Okay. Well, I was scared of it.
Because it's just big and loud, and he said, you know, it can't be back used to be one, he's like, do with that.
You went to another shooting range?
Yeah,
Which one was that?
I want to say it's Big Laser,
Big Laser.
yeah, up in Banks County, I think up there on the what's called the Tanger outlet.
Okay. How many times you guys go there?
I think only twice on there as well.
Okay.
Because once we moved, it's,
Did y'all shoot something different up there?
no,
Same guns?
yeah, we got rid of the AR, the Bushmaster, that's what I was trying to tell you, because it jammed.
Yeah.
Called Mike, I'm like, I can't get the bullet out of here. So literally had to, took it apart, so it wouldn't, you know, but so I ran out hung up there.
Okay.
Took it back to Mike, I'm like, hey, I can't, he's excited, he's hooked, this worked.
Mhm.
And I said, I just need to size it down on something that's not gonna do this with him. Because now I felt scared of it, I don't want him
So
to
you
see
took that first gun and you got it set free, you took it
Yeah.
back to, who did you buy that from?
Mike's gunner.
Oh, Mike. Okay, yeah. Is that who you buy all your guns?
Oh, yeah. I thought the sheriff in there one day, dang, you are the biggest sheriff I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know about that, he's tall now.
He's tall, you know, again, I'm like, God, how?
So you went to Mike's number, what do you got straight
So
on?
what we talked about was, like, the guy was, leasing land from, we were talking about, like, he really likes his hunting, the whole aspect of it.
Mhm.
I said, we were talking about, I was telling him coyote hunting during the summertime, is how we kind of keep track of the land, put cameras, like, I'm going through the whole deal for him, right?
Like, this is out of the house, the farmland in Salem?
Yeah, no, this is as he grew up, and we worked the shooting range, and I tell him all the hunting range to do as a kid. And I said, where you shot that deer, it's just run over, with coyotes and killing.
Where do you guys hunt at?
So it's out, my plumber's got family land, it's like 20 acres, it's just right out behind his house. And I said, we can get a different style weapon, and we can work our way up to where you feel confident shooting a gun.
So what do you upgrade to after this?
Nothing, we just left it at that, and I told him, like, I just need to think about it and talk about it with him, how's he feel, did that gym and mess with him or anything like that. So for Christmas, we were talking, and he said, Daddy, he said, I would really like to get another AR, he said, but I'm scared of the jam. I said, okay, he goes, he said, what, he said, that's the AR that I had. I said, that's a 223 round, just, you know, that's our coyote and our pig hunting gun.
Is that what you got?
That's what I have.
Okay. What kind of AR do you got?
I have, it's not a name brand, it's, I'll say it's a Franklin or a Johnson, it's just,
Okay.
like
And
a,
it's 223?
yeah, 223.
So, I don't,
You wanted one of those?
yeah,
What you said for Christmas, was it Christmas of seventh grade year?
this past Christmas,
Okay, so 2023.
yeah, we were living in our house where we are now.
Did you guys shoot or anything between seventh grade and?
Just arranges those maybe one time, and once I started with school, I just was focused on getting him into school, not really going and doing any shooting and everything. Then all that kind of stuff went down with his mom, and she got into a whole shitload of trouble, so I just kind of shelved all that, so we got it calm.
So after everything calmed down,
Yeah.
you got an AR for Christmas?
Yeah, I said, you know,
Well, that might shake.
yeah, I said, the whole goal here was, he was a carrot, like, he had so much fun, we bonded, like, I
That was
wanted,
his right? That was for him.
it was for him,
Yeah.
but, like, it didn't say in his room or anything, it was all in my closet right there, but when we go shoot, that's when I let him shoot.
Okay.
So,
So is that where you kept guns in the house, in your closet?
Yeah.
Was that where they were the other day?
that's where I thought they were, yeah. A couple days before, I bought him just, I'm a single dad, like, top baseball, so I can't, like, go do all this on a whim, right? You know, so I'm like, hey, I'll try to upgrade your scope. I know it's shitty, but I said it's enough for us to go shoot in the range. You shot a deal with it, you're good, you know, and when we're moving, he was worried about, I was explaining more, saying, just all of this in the effort for him to be safe with a weapon.
What you bought him something to upgrade the rifle?
No, it's just a laser cartridge that you put in there, shoots a laser,
Okay.
and you just look at your scope.
Okay.
And so that came in, and he had it,
So the laser, what is it?
yeah, it's like a 223 round with a laser in it.
Oh.
And when you put it in the barrel, it turns on before it's like your scope. And I said, the whole effort with the hunting and the rifles and whatnot was, hey, bad boy, you keep doing good in school, doing good things, making good grades, which he was, then this is something that we will do. It's not like a carrot.
Yeah. Kind of like the Bible, you know, but hey, you do all this, you go to school,
Correct.
we can shoot, you know?
Yeah, and it's always been like us, our family, mama just totally shit canned us, and it's just us now. And we have to just be together. I can't go away and buy things like that, you know?
So I've been out to your house, where's your house, or where's your room in relation to?
Yeah, so, when you go down the hallway, courtroom's on the right.
Mhm.
And when we first moved into the house, it was a big home,
Is it one story, two story?
one story, ranch house. And Jenny, his sister, she was like, I want to come back up and stay with y'all, I miss you, don't like it really down here, it's like, no problem, mom's in trouble, I'm like, I'll be there in the morning. About a week goes by, we're trying to get things ready, I get a call from DFAX in the middle of the night, and all that, I'm sure that you read about her mom, his mom.
Yeah.
No. So the phone rings 2 o'clock in the
When
morning.
is this?
Huh?
When is this?
This is here recently, probably, and I can't give you the exact date, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Down there, living with parents, and, painkillers, graduated to that. I had no clue. Feedback later on, me like, well, kids, I thought, DUI, it's like, well, she's driving, I can't tell you until I see you, stuff's got to be signed, I got legal, I'm like, she's like, can you be here tonight? I'm like, it's like almost 2 in the morning, it'll be 4 hours.
And you and Marcy, you are married, right?
We're married, we're not divorced,
So-
we're, legally.
Yeah, separated legally.
Correct. I did know my kids, I
So
probably.
Marcy got DUI on.
No, that's what I thought. So I'm like, okay, I said, I'll come, it's gonna be middle, like 4 o'clock in the morning, she's like, okay, let's just meet there at 7:30, I'm like, you need to tell me what this is about, I have no idea. She said, just know that, your kids are safe, you just come down here and get them. And I'm like, okay, so Colin and I run down there, he's like, what do you think this is? I'm like, I have no idea. So we get there, we go to her mom and dad's house, open the door, and we sit in her living room, she gets her phone out, she's like, okay. Marcy, they gave her a hair blood test, she starts reading the results.
Why did they give her hair blood test?
Her sister apparently, I never got the whole story.
She had all the kids down there.
She had my little one,
Colin.
Colin G. And I'm like, at that time, I started thinking, like, okay, this is why Jimmy's going to go back, something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but, I issued with drinking, that's wrong.
So what was the result of all that?
So they read it all, I'm like, yep, she said the prescription for all that was in there, opioids were in there, and high wine or high alcohol content, like, and I'm just like, you know, I know all this. And she said, I've been doing this for as many years, and I've never seen a
level come back to high for that. And I'm like, what did you just say? I'm sitting there in the living room. And she's like, she is doing that currently based on what I'm like, and I stood up, I'm like, can I take my kids? She's like, hang on. She's like, it's wrong, no, confused, yeah.
That's what Marcy was saying.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is like the worst thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so we finished all that, like, you got the kids, you got custody of the kids, visitation is only as code allows it, and where it's gonna be, it's up to him, basically. I'm like, great.
So you like say when you took kids, okay, is that still in place now?
No.
How long do they?
I'd say probably right after probably 2 or 3 days after Lieutenant Guest beat on my door at 2:30 in the morning. He showed up with 3 or 4 different deputies.
So who beat on your door?
Lieutenant Guest for Barrow County.
When he come out there?
I got started.
Was it recent?
Yeah, it was when I first got the kids back up there. So, got the kids.
Like a recent and like a week
Oh,
ago?
no, this was shortly after I got the kids back up there, so, I'd say we've been there so it's probably 5, 6 months ago, maybe. And these are off, I got, it's already.
I'm not holding you.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure you do it.
Okay.
So
So it was only, the same plan was only 3 months?
he was at my door, she had called and said that
That's the end of the first video.
I took the kids to a ball break and never came back. And I was like, no, it's like, can I go to some other job? He's like, yeah. I had that letter from DFAC, and he's like, this is safety plan, this is what,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't need shit thing. I'm like, well, it should, because that's how I want to get kids.
Well, to not explain that better, kind of questions,
I was like,
we don't get involved with that. And I'm sure that was probably that case you made that to you.
I was like,
Unless it's signed by a judge, we can't enforce that.
I didn't say that.
Okay, well, that's kind of clear that.
Yeah. So I don't know who grabbed him, somebody walking out my front yard, it's like, you're still there? I'm like, yeah. So he came back, he was like, okay. Whatever that conversation was, he was just gonna be when he came back on board.
Okay, good.
So then, once that settled,
I had to
right,
figure out when the safety plan was.
it's like, holy shit, because I called the defense lady, I'm like, I got some law telling me that this doesn't matter. She was like, it's completely false. She's like, no, I'll go down there, I'll talk to everybody in the morning, tell them you're abiding by the plan, it's no problem. You're doing everything that you're supposed to do by law. And she said, I'll go sit down with Jenny after this, make sure everybody is good and safe. And
You good. Yeah, that's what I told you, you don't have to get involved in it.
Yeah.
Wherever kids are at, they stay.
That's right.
Figure that out.
And it was even, I said, okay, I'll go in there and wake them up if you want. He's like, no, that's all good. So
Let's kind of circle back.
yeah, sure.
So last, Christmas.
Yes.
You bond the rifle that was used this time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you got, how many times you go with him to see that?
I would say probably twice.
You brought it
Yeah.
twice with him?
We went, both of those times we went up to Big Laser.
Okay. So that right, people want to say those twice.
And the goal was to,
What, you said you bought the war scope? Attachment beside?
yeah, just a little
Laser, yeah, I know so. Did you buy any other attachments for it?
No, I had a bunch of stuff through the years of different parts and pieces or whatever.
Did you give him any of that, like you did something good? or-
No, I just had, when I bought it, the rifle was just kind of stripped down. I said, he doesn't have very big hands. I said, we need to put just a normal, like, ear hunt scope on there and a little,
Full grip?
yeah, a grip on there because for whatever reason, that weapon's got it solid.
Yeah.
It's hot, like,
Oh,
it's hot.
yeah.
So I said, we'll just put that on there and laser, and that's all, that's, the scope, to use a laser, bore sighter, get it, you'll hit these things that go straight down. That's all that was.
That was big.
Yeah.
That was not big.
That's what, really, I would say,
It was $2,300.
where all of that was going was, because Jimmy wants to bow hunt in a bad way. So I was trying to, like, hey, this is probably how I should start this. We need bow hunt, like, they've got pictures of me bow hunting and just through the years, Jimmy was wanting to do it, so the overall goal here was, hey, like, I need to start going to school, do what you're supposed to do, I said, we'll get back into the woods this fall. I said, look, I want to keep in rolling and just go from there, enjoy the outdoors for what it's worth.
Did he ever ask you for any parts, like any upgrades to the rifle?
He would ask me like, hey, he said, he asked me for an extended clip. And I said, he said, the one that we had, she holds 20 or whatever. And I'm like, that's plenty. I said, I've got one in there. I said, it's not
They
going to.
wanted more of
Yeah, this was way back. He said, I had one that held like 50 or so. And you could see in it, like, see how many rounds were in it. And that was just something that was like, the only problem about these, in the original gift was, you don't know how many you got left till it stops, you know? I showed him that clip, he was like, can I use that on mine? That way I know. I'm like, sure. But, you know, anything weapon-wise, when, the only time he ever touched that thing to go shoot it was when we were walking out.
it. You ever touch it? You mentioned that's the only time you ever touched it, shoot it. Did you ever touch it, do anything with it, clean it?
No, we sat down on the floor, I took everything apart, and just, I said, I'm not smart enough to take springs and all that shit out. I said, take this back, I just do this, I oil all the parts, clean the barrel with the brush, I said, then I spray it with the brush, and I said, then we put it back up.
How often did you tell me that when I was saying?
After we would shoot, after I did the next day or a couple days after, that was kind of hard. The whole original thing was just for us to bond, because the things they had gone through with their mom, so I'm just trying to save everybody, and keep my family together.
Yeah.
And he knows that, like, he knows that. So, he just had a lot of,
Yeah, so we can go ahead and kind of transition into that. So I kind of heard that, you know, from the, and again, this is the telephone game through the grapevine, that you've kind of been involved with the school, in some way trying to get help for them. How long is that?
can I just say this?
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm at?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bothered, like, I miss my children, like, I knew, like, I need just one more day, I think this would just change everything, because I can feel it. I can
You feel
feel
what?
this whole attitude changing.
How long could you kind of feel that?
So we had an argument, I don't know dates or time, so when everybody was at the house, and
Just like last week? Or
no, it was a few months ago, when all that originally came down with his mama, and we had the discussion of, the mama is on this, takes all the pictures of the bus, forget the rest. And just, I'm like, hey, we'll get the right people involved, we'll get to this together, but we can't go hell raising.
Was it shortly after the lieutenant gas?
Yes. And I said, he's like, she's causing that. We can't even, you know, we're looking out the windows now, we're gonna come around stuff, they think we have something to do with this. I'm like, no. And so talking to her mom, their grandmother, like, hey, I need help. I said, the anxiety for him is increasing, and he's getting more bold towards me. And that's where he would say something off the cuff and go in his room, slam the door. I would just let that go, because I don't want any bullshit starting from my little kids with it.
Right.
And as time went along, he became more and more like confrontational. I said, all right, listen, I said, I want to get
What
right
would you guys get arguments about?
him calling her all these names and shit like that, and then him not wanting to be associated with her, and that was led to, I came to the school because everybody knows my mom's a bad dad, which led to her mom saying,
That stuff happened down at the jail, right?
it did, but up here is where it all, like, James said, they locked her up here, when they caught her, it was here at Walmart.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So, yeah, it started all there. I had y'all tracking her cell phone, whatever, however that looked like. They were doing it, happened.
Did
Like,
both of this?
yep, they all three did.
Did you tell us something you told them, or?
They wanted to know what was happening because, I'm trying to think what triggered the whole damn thing.
Mhm.
After Lieutenant Guest, it was before Lieutenant Guest, she just shows up, it was, sorry, it's all, I'm trying to remember this, what timeline. Guest came by, and then that's where we were told we were doing the right thing, our safety plan was in order, you're good, follow what we said. All right, and then, I don't know, a couple weeks go by, maybe a week, so they beat on the door on Saturday, and I'm like, dude, when I look out the window, it's her. She shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So I yelled out the window, like, hey, you're not supposed to be here, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to get your car and leave before I call the law. You can't just show up.
Right.
And she's screaming at me, I want my kids, you're going just carrying on and on and on. So, and the kids are there, they're scared, I'm like, calm down, and all that was doing was just really upsetting Cole and Shane to the point where he was mad about it, and I'm mad about it, but, like, you know, the whole goal here was to, us to move up here, let her go get help, let her parents put her in an inpatient thing, and let us continue with our life. So, there were words with him, her dad, his grandfather, the mom and the grandmama bought him a dirt bike.
Right.
For being a good boy, and what we're trying to get him to do, was she wanted him to come down there and live in Fitzgerald. And they said, the grandma said, I'll buy you a dirt bike, and then when you come down here, you can do online school. And that's right there is where I lost any, like, going to school. You know, he was like, well, you know, family is what they call her, so family said, we can do online school, and I don't have to.
Well, you did last year, because he was out of school for a long time.
Yeah,
Who you do online with?
it started out with Georgia Online.
Okay.
We could not get, I tried to do
So
that
he did that from, say, October of last year to,
until he found out that, he wanted to go back and do eighth grade again with Jenny and go through eighth grade and through high school together. I'm like, okay. I thought that was a great idea. We really could give him a comfort level with his sister and they were really close. So, that's kind of where,
so what's your,
it's like,
you mentioned that you worked for, Government Prosecution contract. And how long have you been working for them?
maybe 8-9 months now.
Okay. So for the past 8 or 9 months, what's your schedule like?
So my schedule is, I get up, wake everybody up in the morning about 6 o'clock. Everybody's awake. Make sure everybody's got their clothes, everything they need for school. I get little Goldie dressed and I take him to school every day.
Where does he go to school?
He goes to Austin Road Elementary.
He's right.
He is a total world champ too.
So you wake everybody up, and what time do you leave to take little Goldie to school?
We leave about 6:45 to 7 o'clock. If we're late, it's like 7. And then like walking out the door, like Colt, you wake up, he's usually in there getting dressed and ready to go. And he is, goes last.
Yeah.
So you wake up, and then when I get him in school, I get to my job, I'm calling or texting like, everybody good, you off to school, yes, good. And you can see it on my phone,
So, you leave about 7, and you ever go back home and just go straight to work?
No, I go straight to work.
What time do you have to be at work?
I'm the boss, so.
Whenever you get there? What time do you normally get there?
Yeah, I try to get there by 7:30.
So you that close to, where's the price at? Is it? Okay. So you try to be at work at 7:30?
Yeah.
What time do you get home?
It's saying it could be 12, it could be later. Every single day is I'm walking to the truck by 2:30, always getting home about 3:15. And I'm trying to be in my driveway every day by 3:30 at the latest.
Okay, so sometimes you can leave at 12,
Yeah.
and then with the latest, 2:30 to
Yeah, I mean, if we have something for them, a doctor's appointment or somewhere they've got to go, then, I just make my arrangements with the guys who work for me.
And you work
I leave.
Monday through Friday, you work on the weekends,
If I've got a project that I have to do Saturday, I'll.
so you get to be home when the kids are alive.
Yeah, and they go with me. They all go cranes and podcasts and like.
How often do you talk to them?
He used to go all the time when he was little and
When you stop doing that?
probably about the time puberty hit, to be honest.
Don't stop very, okay. So he doesn't go anymore, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't. He,
So that, I mean, that's good, you get to be home that much. What's a typical, like, when you get, what time do you normally get home, about 3:30, 4, or something like that?
Yeah.
And then what's your afternoon?
So, the afternoon is, like we usually go to the park, me and Boo and we'll go up there to, that's what we always call it. Or we'll go football, play football,
What part?
right there in, Bethlehem, right behind the Civic Center, Bethlehem, the Civic Center is a little park right there. So we would, this past fall, we were there every day after school.
Is Colby there with you?
Sometimes he would go with us, him and Jay would just swing and me and Boo would run around and chase and
play on swing.
So sometimes you go to the bar, what time y'all normally dinner?
We try to eat dinner, they're always chomping at the bit by, 6:30, 7 o'clock, when the time change comes, I try to make sure we're obviously in the house, dinner, and everybody's laying down by 8:30.
The older ones are?
Everybody's laying down. Yeah.
Wow.
And they'll, Jenny will lay there and we'll do her girl stuff and look on the phone and Cole, he'll see what I'm looking at now.
It's gaming, huh?
Apparently not. So,
Well, when you go check on them, tell them to be done about 8:30 or
yeah, no, I can hear it.
What
through the
he's
wall.
playing with you?
Yeah, I can hear it.
What kind of video games you play?
He plays a hell last couple of weeks, he's been playing Minecraft with Jenny, like
Minecraft?
nonstop.
Do you play anything else?
He's Call of Duty, like trying to get me to play it, and I said, I can't play it, I just literally can't do it.
Yeah, you said you weren't too good at it.
I suck.
Yeah.
Like, he told me this, I keep stabbing myself in the leg. Kill everybody else with it.
Yeah.
So, it's just something where, yeah,
What else is he into other than video games?
he can hit the hell out of the golf ball. Yeah.
Oh, you go to golf?
So when we got back over here when we were in Jackson, we go hit balls almost every weekend.
Oh, since you moved back.
We went to the Chili's, played, showing how close we were. Actually still owed money for a putt contest he beat me on it. The goal right there was when he smashed it, I'm like, you can write your ticket. I think you're so smart. You go to college and do this for a living. Like, you're a good looking kid, but you're smart. Like the world is just right there for you. You're such a good boy.
When, so you said the last few months were pretty bad. Do you guys argue a lot?
No, we
Don't argue a lot?
not leading up to the whole mess bullshit is when it came off the rails for him. And,
So that's when the argument started between you and him?
and
What's the typical argument look like for you guys?
it's, just stop. Just,
What's he doing?
he's just cussing, slamming doors. And he's just like, I need you to stop, or I want to get formally to calm down. So the first time,
You ever break anything in the house, throw anything?
yeah, he broke the door,
You broke the door?
Yeah.
What door did you break?
the hallway door.
Why did you do that?
I guess we didn't lock the door.
What's you so mad at that for?
I don't, Jenny had said something about what they had been arguing about, and he chased her down the hall.
What were they arguing about?
I don't remember what exactly they were, but whatever she said, something, I think it was something at school that happened, and he was embarrassed about it, because he ran down the hallway. We ran up there too, I'm like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
And when he got to the end of the hallway, he like tripped over his book bag and like landed his head into the door, and it knocked a hole in the upon the door, right?
You ever break anything else around the house?
No, nothing like full on, he knows like, all we have is my income, like, it takes everything that I have to just keep us food, clothes, bills.
Right. What did he, when you yelled and cussed at you, what did he say to you for?
He just told me because we have an agreement where we don't scream and yell, when we get to that point, like, you just need to walk away.
Right.
And
But what's the subject of something?
it could be anything from grades to school, like here recently, it's like, I need you to go back to school, like, I
Yeah,
need that.
apparently he's only been in school 4 days.
Right, I need that interaction, I need you to start to figure out what it's like to be in school. We talked to the school, I told them all the backstory, said, hey, here's what's going on with him. Smart kid, he's just,
When did you first talk to the school?
like when we signed him up, like when he said he was gonna go back to school.
Did you read out when you talked to him about his whole demeanor? And
No, I didn't say anything to him about
then
that.
you talked to him about what talked to him?
This was probably about 3 weeks ago, like, we had an argument or whatnot, and I was like, where I would get up and slam the door, kind of shit. He just wouldn't let it, like, he just wouldn't let it go. It just seemed like he was like wanting to, instead of back off of a fight, like he was really wanting to fight. And I'm like,
How many times did you try to do that?
the second time is when it's like, this is it, like, we're done. I said,
What did he do to you?
nothing, he just bull rushed me, pushed me up against the wall, and I just hold it, The second time, he was like kind of flailing around me, got hit me inside the head, and I told him, don't hit me in the face. Ever again, I'm gonna turn you loose, and you need to stop. So turn him loose, called mom, called grandmother, and I called, one sister is a retired cop, the other one is, works.
One of your sisters retired?
Yeah.
For where?
One of them is Henderson. And
What'd she say?
she's been guiding me through all this, you know, she's like,
What's her name?
Marion Gray, she retired and she actually moved back here,
Did you,
to Georgia, so.
how long she got out there?
Oh, man, 10 years, maybe a little longer. She was, last time I went on the ride along, she was a sergeant.
Hmm.
When she retired, she said, I retired as a lieutenant, so that was good.
So when you, in the afternoons, like when you come home, and you said you gotta come home, what do you do when you first get home?
So when I first get home, I'll go around to everybody, how's your day, talk to everybody, how was it, what happened, what's good, bad, the ugly, and then what do you want for dinner, this is what we have. And then,
They said, cause you get home before him, though.
yeah, well, sometimes, it just depends.
Yeah, I mean, if you get off at 3:30, and what is it, it's like about
Yeah.
4:45?
I haven't like nailed down the hit the high school time, that's kind of like always a nap. You know, it's like, I've got the other two's time.
So what do you do when you come home and he's there? And you know, this bus is.
Yeah, so, like when he's not going to school and he's there, or, yeah, so, and that's kind of where we're at, right? I'm like, what, I don't understand, like, we had this conversation, like, this is what we were gonna do. And he went the first day, and then, it's like the second day, he said, I don't feel like, my math teacher likes me. I'm like, what the hell, that's supposed to
It was a
mean?
math teacher.
I don't even know, we haven't been there that long, like, I haven't even know.
Yeah, school started what, August?
Yeah, and like, so him getting back in the fray is like, it's really important, so, and I'm like, you know, he's worried about the image that somebody's gonna find out about all his mama and all that crap, so I said, okay. I said,
What was it, is math teacher, what is the math teacher like?
He never really expanded on that, and it was just an odd thing to say.
What about his other teachers?
He didn't,
Did he like them?
he didn't say anything else about any other teachers, and just the way his demeanor, it's just like, I don't know, was it him, is it his teachers, like, do they not know the backstory with him, where was?
Did you tell them back?
Yeah, oh yeah, told them why, online, they were really gracious, they,
When did you have this conversation with the teachers?
not with the teachers, with the
With,
school principal
Yeah,
and
that
then the
pretty good.
scheduler, yeah. She said, just bear with me, we've got all your paperwork, it's good. And I'm like, I want him to fail.
Yeah.
She said, with nobody fails. I'm like, how's that? And she said, we just push them on and we give them, schoolwork that brings them from what they're missing up to where they need to be sprinkled in with what they should be doing. I'm like, okay. So that was the extent of that. And then they have the backstory of his mama and what all happened. And I was clear in the very beginning, like, this is what happened. She can't come on the property and take the kids. She has to be, everyone told me that's what I need to do, law enforcement.
so what was the plan for Cole?
Well, so that's what we were working towards. I said, hey, look, I want to get him into a counselor, like, you know.
Had he ever, made threats to harm himself, want to make harm, or harm, any of that?
No, not anybody else, but he
Yeah.
made the comment here and there, when he found out about the mess and him and his mom were having an argument. Just like, you know, what the fuck that life I have. I'm like, you know, hey, this is her life, not yours. We're doing our thing. Don't let what she's done define you.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm doing. So, I could not convince him to go back to school after he came back that second time. And I don't know what to do at this point. So I called up there and said, I want him to see the in-house counselor. Can we do this and set it up?
What's the counselor's name?
Lisa, I need to look at my phone. Lisa, I think she sent me an email and said, hey, they made contact at the school. And she said, we would like to bring in a third party, be aware.
Bring like third party therapist
Yeah,
or
it's called.
psychologist or something?
Yeah, so the awareness is a count.
Okay. When were they gonna do that?
This week, I had filled out all the paperwork, which I did Thursday and Friday.
So you had an appointment this week?
Giving them all permission, like, bring everybody, bring a specialized person, like,
What were they specifically, like, treating for?
they were gonna talk to him about coming to school, not worrying about what people are saying, don't be a loner, you know, come on, get back into the swing, things at school.
And
Try to
about what
find-
people were saying, it was that the stuff about his mom
Yeah.
being bad, busted, and all that shit.
Exactly. And then he was more worried about everybody knowing that he, you know, mom was a meth head, and that his biggest fear was failing and falling behind when he was in
So the appointment this week, I'm assuming goes from like today or tomorrow.
Yes, so they need me to give permission. I filled out all the paperwork online and said, thank you so much for
Did
this.
you, have you been in communication with, Ms. Marcy about any kind of stuff for him, any kind of mental health?
Yeah, so, yeah, her and I had talked about that, and she was like, you know, he needs help at another level. And I'm
What
like,
does she mean by that?
she means like step into a place. And I'm like,
When she made that comment?
just recently while this has been going on.
Sometime in the past 3 weeks?
Yeah, before all this has happened. And I'm like, the problem is.
Before you talked to the counselor the first time?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. And then, so
Why didn't you be checked in somewhere?
she thought that that's what he needed because they argue and he doesn't have a filter.
Okay. What, did you make threats for his mom?
Not threats, but crackhead, just like shit like that. Just no, it's just things I don't want to even hear him say, so I let alone his brother and sister. So I'm trying to navigate and manage all that. Everything with that is very hard.
Yeah.
So once that kind of, I told you I could feel it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this isn't, we need to do something. So I reached back out and said,
Was that before or after his mom suggested inpatient therapy?
what was
When you said you felt it?
Oh, this is after. This is after her and I had that conversation. I said, you be the one to tell him that. He's not gonna take it from you. I said, I don't.
Did you reach out to anybody at that time?
No, I didn't read it out professionally to anybody. I thought that, like, he'll go to his grandmother and he'll talk to her, not anything. So I
You
called
have a
her.
relationship with
Yeah,
her?
she was a school teacher for 4 years. And I'm like, hey, like, Jenny, we'll go and we're at church every Sunday. We gotta have him church every Sunday. I've been trying to get him to go with us. He went one time. So I shared that with his grandmother because she's just always been there for us, right?
So how long after his mom suggested inpatient therapy, was it before you went to school?
So she's been mentioning something like that since she got out. Okay. And then she came up here, I don't know, a couple, 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Hadn't seen the kids. I'm like, okay, come back up. I want to say, yeah, a couple weeks ago. You know, I said, come back up. We'll cook some dinner. I said, well, you know, let you hang out and talk to the kids and show you 1,000 things to say. And it went okay. And the day she was leaving, I went to work and, so it's like, hey, so I'll take Lulu and, I said, just make sure Colton will get on the bus. Apparently Colt and Mom had a huge fight. So he called at work. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, he flipped, he's lost his mind, he's screaming at me, he's like, I don't even know what triggered all of that, you know? And I'm like, I'll let me get out of this meeting, I'll call you back. I said, I'm gonna sit right here, just give me a second. So I did my meeting, call her up, I'm like, what is going on? I said, he's at school. He was not using the house. I said, I'm telling you, I texted him this morning, he said he was at school. And well, it turns out he wasn't, he was in the closet. And
How many times did that happen just going in?
just that once. That,
So he never told you he was at school before or went to school and you found out that he
yes,
was?
that's the only time it's ever happened.
You know, there's been roughly, what, 30 days of school?
Yeah.
I mean, 20 days of school, something.
Right.
And he's been,
I got a note that during the break, after you. All right, we'll take a break and,
Okay, so they are going on break, and I guess as y'all can see with the chat, we got to speak in many different languages in order to make it work. I have no clue what's going on.
take a short recess.
And Your Honor, for the record, we backed it up about 5 seconds, so that we'll come back to
Okay, so let me get us past the break, and it looks like we are going back into this. You know, the funny part about, well, not the funny, I ain't gonna say it's funny, but the one strange thing about all of this, that he's in there, he's doing all of this talking, and he's saying all of this stuff. He does not have an attorney, right? Because he thinking in his head, well, he didn't do the school shooting. He didn't do anything. He just provided information to investigators so they can kind of understand how this may have happened. And little do he know that after he make all these statements and do all this talking, they gonna handcuff him and take him away. Yeah, I don't think he thought about that, but yeah, that's what eventually happened. So, interesting.
School, 20 days school, something.
Right,
And he's in 4 days.
exactly. Yeah.
So we come home and see him there.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, the first few days, like at school, like, hey, you get back into it, and it's just, his mom came up, I was school, everything's good. And it's just that little rift that they had about her and what she did in our family, and, you know, where he knows we're just taking everything I had to keep us together, and
So he threatened mom during that blow up.
I don't know, like, threatened, I don't think so, it's just a bunch of name calling, and she, what he said when he called me was, she came down the hallway and, threatened him, and said something about, the way you're acting, I'm gonna talk to you, Daddy, and we're gonna have to take these guns and get them out of the house. I think that comment was made.
Yeah.
What she said is, he flew off the bed.
I was worried about guns in the house. He made a comment about inside of the guns?
Not around, that
But around other people?
No, I don't think that was the case. I think her dad,
Told you that?
yeah, no, nobody said that directly to me, so I would be speculating. I know her dad's a retired Marine. He's always like, you know, telling her, it's gonna be an issue, and
So she told you to take guns out of the house?
you know, she said, hey, she went down in there and said, you need to get your shit straight, go to school, and we need to just get these guns put up, is what she said.
What do you say?
And that's when they went from bad to worse, and she said, she was going out of his bedroom, and he pushed her, and she hit the door of the wall and the side of her head. That's, and I'm like, okay, I'm on my way home, so. Got
You guys
home.
call law enforcement for that?
Nope, I didn't. She was, on her way home, her parents came up and got her, and, when I found out, he finally was like, I'm like, go. I said, where are you? Because she's telling me he's there. I'm like arguing, no, like, I'm on the bus. Everything's good, like, in my mind, that's where he's at. I'm like, no. And when I got home, I'm like, what's the deal? He said, I hid him in the closet. And I'm like, why? He said, because Charlie, the grandfather, was coming up here to take her, and bring her back home. And he goes, I didn't want him going to our house since he's not even supposed to be on our property, let alone in our house. Him and I just have a,
You can't figure it out.
oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, he,
Why did
just in my house.
why do you think he was coming to the house?
Who's called? Oh, because he came in the house. And like, I would have never known that except for when Colt finally got
By the time you got home, watching your dad, all that there.
in her mom, they come up and got her.
So that's, how many times do you think Colt's put hands on you?
Those 2 times.
Okay, and you put his hands on, how many times you put his hands on his mom?
That's kind of the worst for her.
So kind of worse, is that the first time or not?
Yeah, no, there's not like confrontational, it's more verbal.
So, did she ever say anything to you and ask you, hey, look, I'm concerned, can you put guns up somewhere?
Yeah, so, I'm glad you got to this point because if somebody can get to my damn phone and go to my Amazon account, you'll see, and look at the date that I present some of this in the card. I'm not paying the money, I have to pay the bills. After all that, I like $150 gun safe with a digital hand code. I couldn't buy it that day, I had to pay 2 paychecks.
How long ago was that?
This was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, that triggered me to go, okay, this is what's going on.
You mentioned the gun safe, let's go back to where you keep your guns. You said keep them on the top of the closet, loaded, unloaded, or something else? Never loaded. Anything on top of them?
Almost whatever.
So your door, like coming into your closet, right?
It's like shell.
Yeah.
All the way in the back.
Okay.
Nobody can reach above
So your closet door, that you have a closet door you come in? Okay. Is that a lock on it?
No lock.
It doesn't have any lock? That has like that bolts. Like that.
But,
Did you ever think of maybe putting a lock on the closet door?
well, really, nobody, like my little one, he didn't even know we had guns in the house. Because we,
They call it, only you have guns in the house?
yeah, he knew, we put him up there and no.
So he knew where they were at.
Mhm.
And he's been in there to put them on, after you clean them,
Whatever I
side them,
do,
whatever.
I take them, I set them up there.
But he's been in there with you.
He's watched me put them up there with the understanding of don't,
Just keep them unloaded. Where do you keep your ammo and magazines and all that stuff?
and empty magazines are on the right or in the shelf. I had
In the closet?
yeah, I had an ammo box. Like,
What that box look like?
green, like old, like World War
Two,
II.
like canteen, yeah, okay. How many magazines do you have?
We probably had maybe 6, 7, 8 of them, something like that.
And you keep, ammunition in those magazines, keep them loaded?
Yeah, we keep them loaded, and, hell, half of the ones that are in there, we bought, like some surplus place, and they didn't even fit the rifle we're buying for, so.
So you keep guns on top of closet?
Yep.
And that's your AR,
That's right.
his AR?
Yep.
And then as far as, what else do you have in there?
In the closet.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, you have a handgun in
I
there?
have not in there. I have a block that I carry with me.
You got a lock on you now?
Now.
I think to take that, I mentioned that out there, I just want to make sure you did that
I
there.
don't know, I was able to put that on. Yeah.
So, you have a block, what kind of block you have?
Block 43.
43, okay, where do you carry it? Yeah, where do you carry that
I put it in my book bag.
at? In your book bag?
Yeah, for work,
Okay.
on my laptop, all my work stuff in there. You'd be surprised what's happening on jobs.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get it. Do you have any other guns?
That's it, I've got,
So your ammunition, where's your ammunition going now?
I don't really have a whole lot of ammunition. What I did have was in that box.
In the canteen box?
Yeah, in that box, and then like all my miscellaneous other crap.
So you keep that ammunition in like the box itself?
Yeah.
In like a paper box?
Correct. And all in boxes, like, and if you walk in our house, like, we're still not even unpacked from all our stuff.
And how often do you go there and check on where those rifles are at? You said you kind of have to put it over stuff. What do you have to put it over? Like
No,
pillow?
I know what's up there, and all my big sweatshirts and all my Jordan stuff is right there, and I have it sitting, like, so I got mine.
Okay. But how often? You go in every day, you check, say, okay, put my guns there?
I can tell by what her mom has done through the years going through my stuff. The way I have things stacked up there, I would know if
So
something.
you don't physically go out on every day?
Not every day.
And, have you ever let Colt keep the rifle in his room?
No, after Christmas, he was super excited about it. I said, no clips, no nothing. I said, you can lay it up in here,
You know, where?
in his bedroom.
Okay.
And he's got his golf clubs and his guitars and
How many
everything.
guitars do you have?
Two.
Yes, two. Okay.
Well, actually, 2.5 ones. Up here.
Yeah. So you like keep it there, when did you stop letting him keep it in there?
There's no real set time or, like, not to have it in there. Really, once we,
So he had a gun in his room?
no, not all the time. We would have it in there, we'd shoot, he had it in there after Christmas here and there, but the majority of the time, it was in my closet, not really out for anybody. Once Little Man and Jenny moved in.
You ever come home and say you go in there, get it done, clean it, do something with it?
If he did, maybe 1 or 2 times, but it was always back, when I come home or whatever.
Would he text you or call you and say, hey, Dad, can I get the gun?
Oh, when I came home, it only happened like a couple of times, and when I got home from work, he said, hey, I cleaned the gun, and he said, I'll put it back up there. I'm like, for what? He said, I just want to see if I can do it. I'm like, okay, like, well, don't do that until I'm here. He said, that's something, every time we get near the guns, I have to
Did
see
you
it.
always do everything you tell him to?
Yeah, always,
You always watch.
that's the thing, that's
When
like.
you told him to go to school,
Yeah,
he didn't go to school.
that's where it's like, okay, like I was saying, I can feel like something's not, we need to get more people involved here. So, it's no way of knowing that this shit right here is gonna happen. So,
So when did you first hear about his interest in school shooters?
so we are big, I don't know how we got into the president's race, but we go back and forth, him and I. And so I don't know if it was an interest in school shooters, like he never came to me and said, hey.
Yeah.
I told the investigators the other day, Jimmy brought in this flag, and I don't know what it was this guy with red hair, so I don't know if I could go wrong. It's a weird, funny flag, she brought him off of Amazon, I was up, I'm like, what is that? I thought it was Weird Al and bitch, and I was like, who's that one? Never mind. I'm like, that's the craziest flag I've ever seen, this is happening, you know?
Who was it?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they told me, but I can't.
Can't remember.
Some computer guy that does the videos and all that stuff, I don't know.
Okay.
Really, I didn't, it's such a horrible picture of the guy, I didn't really want to know about him. And then the flag was gone, and when I went in and said, hey, we're you want for dinner? This was probably a week ago. And it's like, hey, I'm gonna fix some dinner, you want pizza, what do you wanna do? I'm like, who's that? And he's really into music, like, learning how to play guitars and all that. He looks just, I thought it was the guy from Green Day. Like, oh my gosh, that's that old man from Green Day, that his son, I told you, has a band. He's like, no, that's not who that is. I'm like,
Who was
he never did tell me.
I'm not telling
He
you.
goes, you know who that is? I said, no, I said, I think it's that guy from Green Day. Like, whoever it is, this bad glasses, he had a more eyeglasses on. And I laughed, he laughed, and that was that.
Mhm.
So,
But it was just one picture of.
yeah, just one picture.
How often do you go to Missouri?
I go in there almost every day. Those doors open, he's on the computer, it's dark. You know, hell, there's no one place that I'm in because I'm trying to, do laundry, cook dinner, take out the trash, cut the grass. I mean, it's,
So you go in there every night, Sunday night, you go in there every morning, wake up, you go in there to, like, me or my wife, sometimes we go, I'll go in there and just sit down and hang out, because my kids like studying.
yeah, so he does that, and I go in there, and what,
And it's just that one picture of lashes.
yeah, just that one up there watching too, that was the only thing on the wall.
That was all me.
Yeah, and then,
Can I take a picture real quick?
yeah. This is the guy. None of that was up there.
That was up there.
Yeah.
Just that one.
Yeah.
That's kind of a whole lot more. You know who this guy is?
No idea.
You have no idea who that is? Can you see what that's
I
up
think
there?
that's it.
Yeah, the Desert Toll 17.
That's the guy that shot the gay bar.
No, that's a school shooter. His name is Nicholas Cruz.
That's the same guy. That's the same
Yeah,
guy.
same guy.
Okay. This is the only thing I can see.
We got pictures from the social media down here.
This is in his room?
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you right now, I never saw any of that. There was one picture, that one, right there.
And you welcome up to the school.
Yeah, no, here's what I was gonna tell you. So when Jenny moved in, I said, hey, you're living with us, I'm gonna give you the master bedroom
Mhm.
with private bath.
Right.
I'll sleep in a bunk bed with food.
Mhm.
So I can do that. So I had Colt set up on a couch
Mhm.
out in the living room. And then when I saved up enough, I bought a queen size mattress and just bed frame, no box frame, and set it up in the laundry room, just down the big room, like I was gonna make my bedroom. So the goal was like, Colt, your room is packed with all this stuff that you got going on, computers and, golf clubs, all that stuff. I said, you need to start getting better sleep, so I want you to make this your room back here, and sleep in the bed instead of the couch.
When did you make that transition?
Probably maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago. So he would be asleep in there. And literally there was no, like, he's on his computer, like, I'm not going in there and chit chat with him. He'll go in there and lay down or come out on the couch, and that's usually where if we're talking about school or anything going on, that's where he's at. Like,
So
he
he never
never told me who that was. He never did. He was like, I can't believe you don't know who that is. I'm like, I said, no, it looks like a singer.
Would it surprise you if Colt said something different?
Maybe. Well, what do you think?
So when I talked to Colt, he said that, he indicated that, you came by and you asked him who that was on the wall.
That's right.
And, he explained to you, he said, you don't know who that is.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. And you said, no, I don't. And he told you it was Nicholas Cruz. And he was a school shooter, and he said, it's not that big of a deal.
And then I said, it looked like that singer, and he said Nicholas, that's what he said. He said, it's no big deal, like, there was no,
So he did say it's not a big deal.
there was no, like, no, I'm telling you, there wasn't like, who is this? It wasn't like I went in there on a search warrant. Yeah, no, it was just kind of like in passing, I didn't ask him or go, I told you what I said to him, I didn't know. He has brought up that school shooting stuff when it happened, and
What did you say about it?
really, he just, like, we have conversations about how somebody could do that. And me telling him, like, you gotta be aware of people, you gotta be aware of your surroundings, like, to be honest with you, the push was that I kept telling him, like, man, you'd be great in law enforcement because of what you see. One time,
What do you mean, what is he? Give me an example.
like Fox News will show all that, blurred out got stuff right there, and, he's like, yeah, I looked that up online, and I'm like, for what? He was like, because it could have been stopped, like, he showed me, like, how that guy for the gay night club, how he got in there, you know, like, they should have stopped him right there, you know?
How,
So,
what was the day night club shoot?
I don't know, a couple years ago, I mean, that's,
So
it's
he's
not
not
like,
into the true crime, like just looking up stuff.
well, I guess, like, as far as looking into it, I'm not,
You ever tell you that you looked up to him?
no,
Yeah,
no, that would not fly in my house.
how often, do you, like, go get his cell phone and go through it?
I just bought him a page ago cell phone, so I have never gone through it.
You never, when did you buy him a cell phone?
I guess it was right before he was gonna start back school up here, seventh grade, so,
Okay, so in Jefferson.
yeah.
So seventh grade,
I think it was Jefferson, right when we moved here, it was,
okay.
yeah, it was
So
before.
he's had a, let's say, you know, he's ninth grade, so it's 2 years, so he's had a phone for about 2 years.
Doesn't seem like it's that
Do
long.
you know what kind of social media profiles he has?
No, because when we lived in Jefferson, one day, like, how y'all doing? We'll get dressed, go play golf. Two law enforcement from Jefferson guys like, is your son here? I'm like, yep. Like, he's in better get dressed, like, what's wrong? So I know you got all the information. Like, I didn't even know what that was when we started talking to him, like,
Yeah, what did they say about it?
he said there's been something on his Discord, because you know what that is? I'm like, no idea.
Right.
He said it's a chat room with a bunch of people, and your son, they would trace back the, I'm like, hold on. So we need to go get him. He's like, well, let me just tell you. So we traced back the IP because that threat was made for a school shooting. I'm like, we need to go get him now. Went back, got him, I'm like, you need to come out here, and whatever you do, do not lie. You tell these people that's what they're asking right now. So I'm watching them asking about, he's like, hey, I was gaming, there was a bunch of people, and he wasn't even sure if he could tell me who or when the comment was made. He just swore to me that he did. About
What was the comment?
some about shooting up a school. That was the only thing that was said to me or
So
him.
in seventh grade,
Yes, in Jefferson.
the FBI comes out,
You know, just two Jefferson law enforcement detectives and.
because the tip, well, so 2 Jefferson men came out there.
Yeah.
But did you know the tip came from the FBI?
Yeah, I followed up with him, like, car, checking in with him, and he did tell me, he said, hey, the FBI's involved. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. I said, well, as soon as I hear or think I hear, I'm just gonna call you direct, so we can, you know, he said, if you hear back from me, then we need more information. We never heard anything. I called him about a week later, he's like, no, you're good. He said, and he told Colt, he said, I do this every day, I can tell you the truth. Like, I know you are. So when they left, I'm like,
So that guy was human lie detector.
right. And I said, you've got to be aware of, like, so, like, if the chat boxes, I don't know anything about all that. Those are dirty.
Yeah.
All I know is I told them is you don't get in these chat box rooms where you don't know who the hell is in there, because this is what can happen. And I said,
Did he say you saw that comment, or did he just say he denied it? Yeah, Discord.
he totally said no. He said, I don't even use Discord a whole
And that
lot.
was after you gave the phone.
No,
That was before you gave it.
before I got.
How much longer after that did you give the phone?
I think the phone was like, once we got settled over here in Bethlehem as a carrot. I
Okay,
think.
I'm kind of confused. I want to go back and revisit that, because I asked you about the phone. You said that you think that it happened.
I'm trying
Around
to,
seventh grade, and we got the phone.
I'm trying to put the timeline, there's so many things.
Seventh grade, or is it last year that he got the phone?
So I'll have to go look and tell you exactly what I'm trying to think of where I went, what law.
Before we talked about the whole stuff, the FBI, it was, he had a phone before that.
No, he didn't have a phone when we lived in Jefferson.
Okay, he didn't have a phone.
I couldn't
He didn't have a phone when he lived over here in Bear Creek.
There was little.
So he got a phone.
And
So after the FBI comes to your house and tell you about, or I'm sorry, I believe it was Jefferson, it's what they call TFO agent. It's like they can get Jefferson PD, they have task force, and they work with the FBI. They explain that to you?
and Amy's card is right.
So after that Discord account, I'm assuming you believed,
Oh, yeah, because he shut everything down. There was no computers, anything like that. There was no, it literally scared him to the point where he's like, I don't want to be involved in anything like that. So what he, now, and I'm telling you, if I was looking at his computer and he said he shut it down, like, I could not go in there and go, no, you didn't. I'm not going to protect that.
So if you get the phone and.
The phone, I'm trying to think timing wise, was part of
It's
it.
okay, we can look at it later.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's one came to best.
Because he's only had that one phone, right?
That's it.
Right, so we can look in that phone, we can find that phone for
It was
you.
more of a, hey, we're gonna get this together, you're a good boy. I'm gonna show you, I believe in you, that's how the phone showed up.
So, after that, he does get a phone.
Yeah.
No time, let's say he's had that phone, let's just say for argument's sake right now, again, I'm not holding you to time, he's had it for roughly a year. Do you think he had it when y'all moved here in October last year?
No, he didn't have it, I don't know, I know it wasn't because I didn't have the money to do that, there's no way.
Okay,
I had to borrow money from
at least a few months.
Yes.
Okay, we'll say a few months, yeah. You've never gone through his phone?
No.
Have you ever, we don't know what social media accounts he has. You know,
I was told none,
okay, who told you that?
him, like, you don't have any of that, right? Like, no.
When did you ask him that?
We constantly, because when little man's in the house and he's on his computer, I'm like, I just don't want, you got Facebook? No. Like, I don't know what other platforms are out there to ask other than Facebook, like, that's legit, like, you do anything like I.
Did you ever think about, after hearing about this board, about signing up on it, see what it was like?
No, sir.
You know, just check it out.
No, I didn't.
You didn't know that. And then, yeah, have you ever gone through his computer? You ever looked on it, sit down, log?
And I know it's like horrible thing to say, I'm just not tech savvy to sit down and go through anything, you know, I know it sounds terrible, but that's the truth.
Where do you get his gaming computer from?
His grandmother bought it for Christmas one.
This
And then he took it apart and he needed some kind of video card to get better graphics.
Who got that?
So on Amazon, I got him the game.
Who got the gaming card? We noticed that, when we went out there, you kind of taken that apart a little bit.
It's just everything is like that, you know, and like, with his grandmother bought one, I'm like, dropping $500 for one of those towers and he like takes it totally apart. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he's like, I'm just upgrading the fan overheats, like,
How did he get the parts to upgrade?
the only upgrade I know is like the gaming card I buy it off of Amazon.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that it's definitely hard to hear. You don't have no CC.
I was talking about when it comes out these parts, I'm like, just,
But yeah, we can do the rest of it tomorrow. I mean, we'll do the rest of today tomorrow. Yeah, all he doing is talking, and then it's to make it so bad they ain't gonna do nothing but arrest this man. So they gonna arrest him right after he get doing all this talking. It look like we able to do it in our chat still. I think we back. At least from what I can see. All right, guys. Well, I do have our notification out for our Corey trial tomorrow. We'll head in there at 8:30 in the morning. Hopefully, we'll have court there. If not, we'll start back up on this one. I'll save our place where we're at. I'm gonna do it after the interrogation video, so you ain't gonna worry about us going back to that part. We'll start out after that. Because all he doing is talking. All right, guys. Well, thank you to the chat. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to all the new members. Thank you to everybody who joined today. I am going to end the stream and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys. Till tomorrow.